Does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef? Like,
Bill Nye the fucking science guy. Bill Nye, the science guy. It was a couple years ago. I was playing in a community college. We were running an older folks baseball game. Bill Nye, the goddamn science guy, pulls up, playing for the Oakland A's, I believe, the older folk version of it. He pulls up. I'm like, hi. Couldn't even say hi yet. He goes, yes, I'm Bill Nye, the science guy. Do you want a picture? I was so stunned. He grabs my phone, says, look at the camera. Everyone looks at the screen, look at the camera, takes a picture, throws the phone back at me like a goddamn rock star, goes up there and plays the dopest game I've ever seen an older man play, then proceeds to walk out of my life. You're just gonna do that to me? To me? That man, his energy, I felt it eclipse the entire baseball field. And he never called me again. Well, he never had my number in the first place. I want to talk to Bill Nye again.
does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef?
Yeah, I do actually. So 3 years ago, I was at a cafe that had the best chai muffins. These chai muffins were unmatched. I go in to get the last chai muffin that I see, and the lady in front of me takes it, swipes it away, and I went, no! That woman was Susan Sarandon. God damn it, Janet!
Does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef? Like,
My stepmom and Scarlett Johansson have beef. So my dad and stepmom both worked on The Avengers back in like 2011, 2012. It shot in Albuquerque, and the director, Joss Whedon, basically loved my stepmom's hair, and so he decided that Black Widow's hair was going to look just like that. So he had the hairstylists cut and dye Scarlett Johansson's hair to match my stepmom's. She was the model for it. And Scarlett Johansson was one of those like diva actresses that really sucks. There's a lot of them. And so she was furious that her hair was based off of crew members. So the rest of the crew would be like, we have 2 Black Widows. And Scarlett Johansson, she hated it. So then when they finished filming, she rented out this club and was throwing this huge rap party, and she invited everyone except for my stepmom. My dad was invited, not my stepmom. So yeah, Black Widow's short red hair, based after my stepmom.
does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef?
I do, but with the state of the entire election, I'm not going to say her real name, but it rhymes with Ho Morgan Dunn. 5 years ago, I went onto this website called Seeking Arrangements because I wanted a sugar mama. I ended up getting involved with this woman because she had a cute little brown bob with some brown bangs and some smiley eyes. Little did I know those smiley eyes had a whole bunch of secrets. She flew me out to where she was at that moment. We ended up having dinner together. She told me I need to review the contract, so I skimmed the entire contract and I signed my life away. After I signed my life away, she said, hey, let's go back to my house. I said, okay. We get to her house. She opens the door. I meet her husband. She said, it's playtime. He winks at me. I said, I don't know what that means. We then go down this long hallway. We get to a door with 8 locks on it. She opens it. It's a full-on sex dungeon. She blindfolds me, ties me up, beats the shit out of me, and because I didn't read the entire contract, I didn't know the safe word, but I did get my money, and thank you very much.
Does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef? Like,
all right, so here's something that I'm always the problem with, that I'm just like this crazy fan or whatever. Here are celebrities that are actually like way too extremely nice to me. Howard Stern. I got to actually meet and talk with him after the show. Super, super cool. And I saw him at the finale, and he was also super cool to me there, and was just like, oh my gosh, like, you're such a good sport. Like, thanks for coming. Like, it's so nice to meet you. Like, just overtly nice. Took pictures with me after, and I just like wasn't expecting that from Howard Stern, and it was like leaving me speechless. Eric Stonestreet on Modern Family, one of the few cast members who took the time to actually talk to me. I was a featured extra, but yeah, Jesse Tyler Ferguson and the woman from the show were in the scene, as well as like a special guest co-star. I didn't know who he was, but they didn't really talk to me. They weren't mean or anything, but Eric went above and beyond to say hi and like welcome me, and he was really cool. Johnny Knoxville and Bam, super cool guys. Steve-O has always been misogynistic to me, so like for part 2 if you want to know that story.
does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef? Like,
okay, more nice, wonderful experiences I've had with celebrities, and that's Matthew McConaughey right there. I see his ass and his calves. He was wearing a face mask. This was pre-COVID, and we were on Hollywood Boulevard shooting a Jack Johnson, I think his name. I think they're just friends. He was directing this music video, and we had no idea Matthew McConaughey was director until we showed up on set. That was me and the other featured extra, I guess, in the video. There's Matthew McConaughey directing me again. These are some paparazzi shots. He also was so nice. He asked if our feet were okay. He asked the crew to get us flats and slippers, and we were just extra, and this is just one of many shots. And he was asking us if we needed jackets. He was asking crew to go get us jackets, even if we didn't need it, and just was like laughing and like smiling the whole time. It was a no pressure situation. Never once yelled at anybody. It was just completely cool, and I like kind of fell in love. This was like 2011, and I was like obsessed.
Does anybody have any like wicked random celebrity beef?
This is about how my little sister and I had beef with Camila Cabello. So we went to Taylor Swift's Reputation tour, and she was the opening act or whatever with Charlie XCX. And so it was in Houston, Texas. So we were flying back to LA where we live, and Camila Cabello was on our flight. Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
And so we're sitting at this restaurant, and we're trying to, like, get breakfast. And then, all of a sudden, a security guard approaches us, and he sees us, like, in our Reputation merch and, like, in our Taylor Swift merch. And he's like, Camila Cabello does not want to take any pictures with fans. Bold of her to assume that we were fans. We don't like her music. I know Consequences and, like, Havana. That's it. Never be the same. So here's our proof, and she just, like, glared at us the whole flight. It was, like, bold of her to assume that we were there for her. And there was, like, no one on this flight, so, like, halfway through the flight, she, like, walks down the aisle and just starts making out with her boyfriend.
Does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef?
Keanu Reeves. Okay, wait, so I worked the John Wick 3 premiere, and my job was basically to, like, when he showed up at the theater, to get him from, like, the elevator that he was coming up in, and then, like, into the theater so that he could introduce the movie to, like, all the fans or whatever. So I get in the elevator, and it's just me and him, and I'm, like, really nervous, and I'm like, oh my God. And I turn to him, and I'm like, thank you so much for being here, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, I blacked out. He literally turns to me, like, scoots down to me because I'm short, and he's like, no, thank you for being here. You're doing a great job. It's been a hard day. I was like, no. He was like, good, I'm glad. I hope you enjoy the movie. And then he goes in and is just so nice to everybody and even gets people off the street to come in and sit in where there were empty seats. This wasn't even beef. I just love telling this story. He's such a nice man. I love him so much.
Does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef? Like,
Okay, so since the last one was well received, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. I promise I usually have really good experiences when I go on TV shows. Howard Stern was amazing. Tosh Point O was great. But here's the next one that I have bad taste in my mouth from. Ellen DeGeneres. She was extremely annoyed the whole time with this segment. She said this was a dumb segment. Didn't even want to do rehearsals for it. We were actually told to not even look her in the eye while we were on TV, which I totally did. We were also told not to touch her. And in this clip, you can actually hear me say, oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to touch you. Ellen was super charming in the clip, but immediately after, she started like wiping herself as if I gave her some like disease. She said, she touched me, get her out of here. We obviously had to finish the segment, but I wasn't even allowed back into the green room where my stuff was. They got it for me and met me in the parking lot.
does anybody have any, like, wicked random celebrity beef? Like,
so a couple years back, I used to manage a restaurant. Let's just call it To Be Ruse Day. And we used to have Warped Tour come to our town a lot. So they parked their buses back behind the hotel and they'd come to get dinner. Well, one time a Day to Remember came and they requested a secluded area with their own servers. And we abided by their requests. Everything was going fine until towards the end of the night, things started to feel a little off. They started giving their phone numbers out to all of the servers, asking us to swing by after our shifts were over. So we decided to clean the area after they left, and we realized that they had stuffed chicken fingers in the seats, barbecue sauce, buffalo sauce, french fries in the lights. They basically trashed my restaurant. So I called up one of the numbers they gave us, and I went to go knock on the door, and when the manager answered, I explained to him the situation and asked him, why would they do such a thing? His response, boys will be boys. So my response was that if boys will be boys, then these boys are no longer allowed in my restaurant until they decide to behave like men. And that's how I banned A Day to Remember from my restaurant.